Chain of Rocks Road leading to the Chain of Rocks Bridge. We're on the Illinois side right now. Original concrete pavement. We are on the Illinois side of the Chain of Rocks Bridge, starting the Missouri tracing of Route 66. This bridge was abandoned in 1965 and was let to rot away until about 2007 when TrailNet saved it as a bike trail. Now you can walk across it and enjoy it.
Why are we here? What is this?
Sorry. This is the Chain of Rocks Bridge. You'll notice the 9-foot wide lanes. Can you imagine driving across this with a truck coming the other way?
No, thank God.
People always ask what the purpose of those buildings are on top of the water intakes, and the engineer simply designed them to make them look interesting. They serve no functional purpose whatsoever. The bridge had a weird 22-degree bend to deal with the flow of the Mississippi River. And with these 9-foot lanes, it must have been quite difficult to navigate that when a tractor trailer was coming the other way. You can see the radicalness of this bend in the bridge from the Missouri side. Just coming off the Chain of Rocks Bridge and onto our journey. In St. Louis, in the shadow of Busch Stadium on 66, is the Eat Rite Diner. Famous for the Slinger. It was built in the 1940s. Across the street is the MacArthur Bridge, long abandoned combination railroad and car bridge. See the stadium in the background. This is the ramp from the long abandoned MacArthur Bridge coming over from Illinois to St. Louis down to 7th Street. There's just a little bit of the ramp left. Most of the roadway was torn out. This was a combination road and railroad bridge. Concrete's been removed beyond what we see here. This is what it would be like coming off the MacArthur Bridge ramp years ago down to 7th. What better way to end up the first day in St. Louis but a trip to Ted Drew's. And of course there is a line. Our first stop today is at an icon in St. Louis in the suburban community of Marlboro. This was the Coral Court Motel that existed from 1941 until 1995. Very unique coral covered tile cabins. It was a shame that we lost this one. I'm going to show you what's there today. All that's left today is the entrance wall that brought you into Coral Courts. There is a housing development that was put in here in the 90s. They did leave the entrance, but they put up a vinyl fence, which doesn't look so great. This is at 7755 Watson Road. This original entrance wall had lampposts on top of the post that said a CC on it, and going up the slope of the wall had signs that said entrance. The sign itself was right here. The lesser known Wayside Motel, which probably was a different name back in the day, is that cabin type motel feel. It's directly across the street from the Coral Court and has the same kind of entrance wall. In the town of Crestwood was a great drive-in theater, the 66 Park-In Theater, located across what would have been the Crestwood Shopping Center, which was built in the early 60s and is now demolished as well. I'm going to show you what's there today. Where the 66 Park-In Theater was is now Sappington Square, just a typical shopping plaza area. In the early 60s, the Crestwood Court Shopping Center opened up to great fanfare with the typical stores, your Sears, your Penny anchors, and other shops. It hit its demise in the early 2000s and has since been demolished. In Eureka, there's an abandoned bridge that went into the town of Times Beach, which had an environmental disaster that they had to clean up and abandon the entire town. I'll be showing you the bridge. Route 66 crossed the Merrimack River going toward Eureka into the town of Times Beach, which is now a park because of the environmental cleanup that had to be done in the late 90s. I'm going to show you this bridge today. The bridge deck has been removed and is waiting restoration to connect to Route 66 Park. Just east of the town of Pacific was the Red Cedar Inn, built in 1934 out of red cedar logs by Bill and James Smith. It was put on the registration of historic places in 2003 and has not been open since about 2005. I'll show you what it looks like now. The building itself seems to be pretty much intact. It's got the cool sign on it still. But it sits waiting for someone to take it over again. The intersection of Old Missouri 100 and US 66 was a major truck stop for years called the Diamonds. It closed up for good several years ago. The signage was still on it in this picture. I'll show you what's there today. This is all that's left of the Diamonds. The building is still standing. It's a cool round corner building, and at the time was at a major intersection. This is near Gray's Summit, Missouri. The Sunset Motel in Villa Ridge was a unique V-shaped brick building which features a really cool neon sign which is still there today. It was built in the 40s with 12 units. I'll show you what it looks like today. The original cool neon sign and entrance sign neon is still in pretty good shape today. And although the units aren't in use, they seem to be nice and cleaned up. The Wagon Wheel Motel was built around 1934 and featured steam-heated rooms. It fell into disrepair, but then was rescued and beautifully restored, and we'll show you what it looks like today. This is in the town of Cuba. This is the Wagon Wheel Motel today. It's absolutely gorgeous restoration. Typical stone cabin buildings of the day. But you can see how it matches up with the earlier picture I showed you. At the Wagon Wheel gas station used to operate out front. It's still there. Well, I'll show you what it looks like today. And here's what it looks like today. If you were staying at the Wagon Wheel, you might consider number 22. It's a one-bedroom queen. Good size. Nice colors. This side is pretty original. This has been upgraded very nicely. It's got a shower and a jacuzzi tub. Really nice place. Here's a picture taken in the 60s of John's modern cabins. The road was bypassed for the interstate, and then they took out the interstate and rerouted it, pretty much dooming this location. I'm going to show you what's here today. Buried in the woods is John's Modern Cabins, one of the iconic stops on Route 66 near Arlington. This lines up the original alignment of 66 and the original cabin motels. What doomed this whole thing is that this was the interstate right here, and this was Route 66 alignment, and both of them were bypassed, so this is very difficult to get to today. There's only one cabin barely standing, and one side's completely gone. It looks like there's attempts to restore it, which is great. Hopefully it'll get to that point. Typical cabin size. Was actually plenty of room once you got inside. Quietly waits for restoration. From 1926 to 1941, this was an alignment that was used and was referred to as the Devil's Elbow because a very sharp turn caused quite a bottleneck. Fort Leonard Wood needed better road system for the military, so in 1943 they bypassed this with the 4-lane road, which we'll show you. This is the bridge at Devil's Elbow. Crossing the Piney Creek. The Munger Moss Sandwich Shop was located right at the Devil's Elbow Bridge and operated as different businesses. I'm going to show you what it is today. Currently, the Munger Moss Sandwich Shop was Elbow Inn, bar and barbecue pit. It's all closed up right now. I don't know if it's closed permanently or not. Hooker Cut was a big deal when it opened in 1943. They realigned 66 to get to Fort Leonard Wood for moving military cargo. Devil's Elbow, which it replaced, was a windy road that went across a narrow bridge. We're going to show you Hooker Cut today. This 1943 alignment is still pristine Portland cement and curbs, not driven on very much. And we're now coming up to what was Hooker Cut. Foot high, it was the deepest highway cut in the United States at that time. Here's Hooker Cut from the westbound direction. This is the town of Waynesville, probably in the late 40s when it was main Route 66 town. I'll show you what it looks like today. The town has redone its Route 66 route, and now it's a lot of newer fixed up buildings and such, so it's a cute little town today. We start day 3 at a very important bridge along Route 66 that is in danger of being demolished. Gasconade Bridge at Hazel Green was replaced recently with a new 66 alignment. There's negotiations going on with the Missouri Department of Transportation in the county to retain this bridge as some kind of trail. A lot of efforts have gone into it. The bridge sits quietly, waiting for a savior to restore it. I'm sure there could be a lot of volunteer effort put into it once they get the okay. It's going to require a lot of money to get it stabilized to everybody's satisfaction. This is looking west from the Gasconade Bridge at Hazel Green. The environment has already started to take it over. Cool bridge just west of Marshfield. The Railhaven Motel in Springfield has been around for probably over 70 years. The facility's still there today. I will show you this same intersection. They've since moved the sign up the street, and it's now Best Western, which probably saved the facility. This is at the intersection of City Route 66 and US 65. This appears to be a very fun place to stay. They've got old gas pumps, old automobiles. This is a picture of City Route 66 taken in 1953, looking west. See the Gillis Theater in the background. We're showing you what that looks like today. Here's that same shot today. 70 years ago and 70 years forward. This is a picture of downtown Springfield taken in the early 60s. Most of the buildings are still there but are something else. I'm going to line this up and show you what it looks like today. This is a shot of what it looks like today in the square. Very nice place. Nathan's became a history museum sign. In Halltown, White City Motor Court was built around 1935. And the building is still standing today, although the courts just have the concrete structures left. I'll show you what it looks like. Today it's a private residence. The shells of the cabins are still there, however. West of Halltown is the famous Gay Parade gas station. Bridge west of Hallstown. Boots Court comes with a radio in every room.
Just change that classical name to some sweet, beautiful drag. If you will play from a copy of a tune that is choppy, you get all my applause. And that is simply because
Pure 1940s. The Boots Motor Court looks really great at night with its neon. Makes it a very inviting place. The Boots Motor Court is very 40s retro, right down to the fact they don't have a TV, only a radio, but it does have air conditioning. Beautifully and lovingly restored. It looks extra cool at night, however. Very inviting. In addition to having Boots Court Motel across the street, they also had a drive-in that served food and ice cream about the same time. That closed up, but the design was similar. I'll show you what it looks like today. It was repurposed. The Great Plains Federal Credit Union took over the building several years ago and kept the essential look of the original building. Leaving Carthage near the 66 Drive-In is an abandoned section, 1936. Viaduct over the railroad line. It travels on some pristine concrete road. If you're doing an overnight stay in Carthage, you want to make sure you take in a drive-in movie at one of the few remaining, the beautiful 66 Drive-In. Heading into Kansas, This was one of the last sections to be paved on Route 66, just east of Galena. This was also the site of a very bloody 1935 to 1937 United Mine Workers strike, which Michael Wallace referred to this area as Bloody 66. I'm going to show you what it looks like here today. This section is fairly unchanged from what it looked like in that earlier picture. The viaduct is pretty much original, and this led us right into Galena, Kansas. This is the main street of Galena, Kansas, probably around 1958. Typical Midwestern wide main street. We'll show you what it looks like today. The town has several buildings that are still intact today. As I said, a cute little main street in Galena, Kansas. Between Riverton and Baxter Springs, Kansas, is the last remaining famous Marshbridge, Rainbow Bridge, designed by a gentleman by the name of Marsh. Built in 1923, pre-Route 66. These beautiful bridges, there were 3 of them at one time. There's only one remaining. One of the more famous stops on 66. Beautiful bridge. A perfect day for a convertible to go across it. The Baxter Springs Phillips 66 gas station was operating up to a few years ago. It's now a visitor center today. A lot of the signage and accessories are gone, but the building pretty much is intact today. This is the Kansas Route 66 Visitor Center. Like many places, closed because of COVID-19. Baxter Springs was a typical wide Main Street Midwestern town in Kansas. It was founded in 1849. It was considered one of the first cow towns in Kansas, coming out of Oklahoma. I'll show you what it looks like today. Some of the businesses are still there. Others have been covered up with later facades. But this is Main Street in Baxter Springs. In Miami, the beautiful Coleman Theater was built in 1929 at a cost of almost $600,000. It has remained intact, and they restored it in the 90s. And we're going to take a look at what it looks like today. Today there's construction going on, and of course the facility is closed for the time being, but it's beautifully restored, and this is what it looks like today. Coleman Theater, Miami, Oklahoma. South of Miami is the only remaining section of 9-foot wide paved road that was built pre-66, and it actually ran for 15 miles at one point, taken out of service in 1937. We're going to take a short 1-mile drive across the Ribbon Road, 9-foot wide section.
Here.
We drove all this way so we could drive on a 9-foot section of original Route 66 pavement in the town of Miami.
How the hell did 2 cars fit on this damn road?
They didn't. Most of it's covered up with gravel, unfortunately, so you really can't see it so well. Local governments didn't have enough money to pave the whole road, so they would do a 9-foot section, and then you would have to yield to the other car coming in the other direction. In town of Afton, the Avon Court was built in 1936 and went through a couple ownerships. When the highway came through in 1957, the property was sold, and it pretty much went into decay. I'm going to show you what's there today. All that's left are 3 shell buildings of the cabins and a sign that you can barely read, Avon Motel, which replaced the original sign. Bonita, Oklahoma is the second oldest town in the state, established in 1871. It was pretty much known as a railroad community. I'm going to show you what it looks like today. This is its main street today. A couple of the buildings are still with us. In 1948, Ed Galloway started on a project that took him 11 years to build. This is the world's largest totem pole at 90 feet. This is near the town of Foyle, off of Route 66, but it's a kitschy roadside stop to enjoy. This has been recently restored, and there's amazing detail. It's another side of the totem pole. Near Katusa, a landmark set of twin bridges existed until around 2015, when the 1936 alignment on the left was removed and a conventional bridge was put in, to much outcry. I'll show you what happened to that bridge and show you what's there today. Unfortunately, the Oklahoma Department of Transportation just put in a conventional bridge to replace the 1936 side. There was much outcry until they decided to donate the structures to a park just beyond the bridge, but another section became the entrance to Molly's Landing. This is the 1936 structure that was saved, and simply as a display piece. It doesn't support anything. But check out Molly's Landing sometime.
John, you told me once, but you got to tell me again. Why are we here?
Well, you told me you wanted to see some aquamarine exhibits while we were in Tulsa, so I decided to look for one for you.
Okay.
And I found it. Do you like whales?
I do. I've never seen one quite like this, though.
How about a big blue whale?
Yeah. Well,
This is
it
the
is.
famous blue whale of Katusa, installed around early 70s, was a swimming hole. The owner built it for his wife, and he passed away and donated it to the area, and now it's a very popular stop on the Route 66 journey. Just off of Old 66 south of Katusa is a bridge abutment that used to go over an abandoned section of the Will Rogers Expressway, built in 1957. The only other place that has a highway abandoned like this is probably the Pennsylvania Turnpike near Breezewood. This was a bottleneck interchange situation that they had to reroute the road a few years ago, but it's kind of bizarre to see an interstate abandoned. You can see the other side as well. This was actually built pre-interstate, and then it was numbered I-44, and then was rerouted around later. Great movie set road. Tulsa, they have a wonderful history walk right in the Cyrus Avery Plaza that allows you to see the historical 11th Street Route 66 bridge, which was decommissioned and it's no longer in use. They're trying to open it up for a walking path. The original bridge is right here. Since been replaced. This is the 11th Street Cyrus Avery Bridge that's been abandoned for quite some time. There's new alignments to the left and right of this. The gate was open today, so I was able to take a look at what's here. This also pretty much ends our journey from St. Louis to Tulsa. I hope you enjoy. In the St. Louis area are two interesting homes that are plopped down in a early 50s neighborhood. They are Lustron houses. This is 4122. It's a yellow version in very good shape. And this one that we're staying in at 4123 is on the Airbnb network. All original, beautiful Lustron home. We're going to see inside, but they have modernized a couple of things that make it more creature comfort-like, but for the most part, they've kept it pretty intact. This is a gray version, and these are original unpainted panels. You walk inside, it's done with interesting 50s motif right down to the ashtray. Nice chinaware. Kitchen's been updated as you would expect, which is okay. Nice nod to the 50s style refrigerator. All working cabinet doors and poles. Furnace and laundry room intact. Nice mid-century setup. The bathroom has been modernized. Has interesting functional sliding doors. Bedroom number 1 retains the nice mirror and vanity for the wife. Storage all around. Additional closets for the husband. Bedroom number 2 also features a nice double bed. Period piece Venetian blinds, dresser, closet. The original red linoleum floor might be underneath, but they've modernized that part of it as well. Very clean and very nice place to stay. Honey, I'm home. Where's my martini and slippers?